House of the Dragon S3. Daemon's ruthless move that changes the war. What if I told you that one decision made by Daemon Targaryen in Season 3 doesn't just change a battle or shift an alliance, but fundamentally rewrites the entire trajectory of the Dance of the Dragons? We're not talking about another dragon fight or another castle seized. We're talking about a move so ruthless, so calculated, and so morally devastating that it makes everything that came before look like a practice round. This is the moment Daemon stops playing by any rules whatsoever and unleashes a strategy that proves why he's the most dangerous man in Westeros, even when he's supposedly fighting for the right side. Ready to have your mind blown? Before we dive into the chaos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because Season 3 is going to be packed with twists that'll leave you speechless, and you definitely don't want to miss our breakdowns. Let's establish the battlefield first, because context is everything. By the time we hit Season 3, the Dance of the Dragons has already claimed major casualties. Dragons are dying, heirs are dead, and both sides are bleeding resources faster than they can replenish them. The Greens control King's Landing, but are increasingly isolated. The Blacks have numbers and dragons, but lack cohesion, and are plagued by internal conflicts. It's a stalemate made of fire and blood, and everyone knows that whoever makes the next big move will either win the war or lose everything. Enter Daemon Targaryen, a man who has never met a problem he couldn't solve with extreme prejudice. Now here's where things get absolutely wild. The ruthless move we're talking about isn't just military strategy, it's psychological warfare elevated to an art form. Daemon realizes something crucial that everyone else is too caught up in traditional warfare to see. You don't win the Dance of the Dragons by having more dragons or more soldiers. You win by breaking your enemy's will to fight, by making them question everything, by turning their strengths into weaknesses. And the move he makes to accomplish this? It's going to leave viewers either cheering for his genius or horrified by his brutality, possibly both simultaneously. The strategic brilliance starts with Daemon doing what Daemon does best, going rogue. While Rhaenyra and her council are debating proper military protocol and trying to maintain some semblance of honor in this increasingly dishonorable war, Daemon is out here playing four-dimensional chess with human lives as pieces. He identifies the one thing the Greens have that the Blacks don't: perceived legitimacy in King's Landing and among certain traditionalist lords. So what does he do? He sets out to systematically destroy that legitimacy in the most spectacularly ruthless way possible. Here's the move that changes everything. And this is based on what we know from Fire and Blood and where the show is clearly heading. Daemon orchestrates a campaign that's part military operation, part propaganda machine, and entirely terrifying in its effectiveness. He doesn't just attack green strongholds. He makes examples of them. He doesn't just defeat green armies. He ensures the survivors spread tales of Black superiority. He doesn't just win battles. He stages them for maximum psychological impact on everyone watching. It's shock and awe meets medieval information warfare, and it's brutally effective. But the real genius, or horror, depending on your perspective, is how Daemon weaponizes the small folk. Up until this point, the dance has been a rich people problem, dragons fighting dragons while regular folks just try to survive. Daemon changes that equation entirely. He starts promising land redistribution. He spreads rumors about green atrocities. He positions the Blacks as liberators rather than conquerors. It's propaganda, sure, but it's propaganda based just enough in truth to be believable. The Greens have been squeezing the small folk dry to fund their war effort, and Daemon exploits that resentment like a master playing a perfectly tuned instrument. Now let's talk about the specific tactical move that showcases just how ruthless Daemon can be. We're likely going to see him make a play that involves using hostages, not in the traditional we'll trade prisoners sense, but in the we're going to make you choose between your principles and your people sense. He's going to put green commanders in impossible positions where any choice they make looks bad. Save your men, but abandon your post? Looks weak. Hold your position, but sacrifice your men? Looks cruel. Daemon creates no-win scenarios, and then sits back and watches his enemies destroy themselves trying to navigate them. The dragon element of this ruthless move cannot be ignored because this is House of the Dragon after all. Daemon and Caraxes become an absolute nightmare combination in Season 3. We're not just talking about battles, we're talking about strategic burns of supply lines, granaries, and infrastructure that make it impossible for the Greens to sustain their war effort. It's total war in the most literal sense, and it's the kind of strategy that works militarily, but destroys any chance of peacefully ruling the realm afterward. Daemon is mortgaging the future to win the present, and he either doesn't care or doesn't think there will be a future worth having anyway. Here's where the move gets even more complex and morally murky. Daemon starts making alliances with people and factions that Rhaenyra would never touch. We're talking about houses with questionable loyalties, sellswords with terrible reputations, and individuals whose methods are so brutal that even in a war full of atrocities, they stand out. Daemon doesn't care about the optics or the long-term consequences. He needs to win now, and he'll deal with the monster he's creating later, if there is a later. It's the definition of the ends justifying the means, except the means are so extreme that they arguably corrupt the ends. The turning point that makes this move truly war-changing is when Daemon forces the Greens to overreact. By being so aggressive, so unpredictable, and so ruthless, he baits them into making desperate moves that ultimately weaken their position. It's like watching someone in a chess match sacrifice pieces deliberately to put their opponent on tilt. The Greens start making emotional rather than strategic decisions. They split their forces trying to respond to threats everywhere. They burn through resources and goodwill trying to counter Daemon's chaos. And all the while, he's just circling on Caraxes, watching them self-destruct. But here's the tragedy that's going to gut us all. This ruthless move that changes the war also changes Daemon in ways he sees. The ultimate irony is that Daemon's ruthless move might win battles, but it guarantees that whoever sits on the Iron Throne afterward rules over ashes and broken people. He's so focused on winning the war that he doesn't consider whether the kingdom will be worth ruling after his methods have scorched it. It's short-term thinking from a man usually known for long-term scheming, and it reveals just how much the pressure and trauma of the dance has broken even the sharpest minds. Season 3 Daemon is going to show us that sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the obvious villain. It's the desperate ally who has decided that victory justifies absolutely anything. Buckle up, because it's going to be a brutal ride. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.